I didn't find out my family humiliated my daughter from a phone call. I found out from her tears soaking into my sweater. That night, if I'm honest, changed something in me forever. I came home on a quiet Saturday evening, expecting the usual chaos, the TV murmuring in the background, the smell of dinner, my 9-year-old humming off-key in her room. Instead, the house felt hollow, too still, like it was holding its breath. My husband, Daniel, was standing in the hallway when I walked in. He hadn't even taken off his jacket. "She's been in her room for hours," he said quietly. "She won't talk. I think she's been crying." For a split second, I told myself it was nothing serious. A bad day at school. A broken toy. Kids fall apart and bounce back all the time. I was wrong. I climbed the stairs and knocked softly. "Sweetheart? It's Mom." No answer. I opened the door anyway. She was curled on her bed, knees pulled to her chest, clutching her phone like it was the only thing anchoring her to the world. Her face was red and swollen. My heart dropped straight through my ribs. "Emma," I whispered, sitting beside her. "What happened?" She shook her head. "Nothing." It was never nothing. I waited. Silence has a way of loosening the truth. After a minute, she shoved the phone toward me without looking up and buried her face in the pillow. "Please don't be mad," she whispered. The screen showed a screenshot. At first, my brain didn't process it. Just a picture of my daughter. Text. Numbers. Then I saw it. A poll. What's worse? Her crooked haircut. Or her nasty attitude. My chest went cold. I scrolled. The names hit me like slaps. My mother, Helen. "Kids these days are too sensitive. It's just hair." My sister, Vanessa. Definitely the attitude. Always spoiled. My nephew. She thought it was fashion. My niece, Emma's age, so embarrassing. More comments. More laughter spelled out in words. 19 votes. 19 people who shared blood with my child. Beside me, Emma's voice cracked. "They told me I looked pretty," she said. "They said it was fashion." She sniffed. "They clapped for me, Mom." Then her voice shattered. "Why would they say that if they thought I was ugly?" I couldn't answer her. There are questions no child should ever have to ask. I pulled her into my arms and held her while her body shook. She wasn't crying about hair. She was crying because the people she trusted smiled to her face and laughed behind her back. When she finally fell asleep, I went downstairs and sat at the kitchen table with my phone in front of me. I read every comment again. Slowly. Carefully. This wasn't a joke. This was intentional. And it wasn't new. Growing up, Vanessa was the golden child. She sang off-key, and everyone applauded. I brought home straight A's and got silence. When I questioned it, my mother's favorite phrase shut me down every time. "You're imagining things. You're too sensitive." It was code for, "Take it." And I did. For years. But this time, they hadn't aimed their cruelty at me. They aimed it at my daughter. Vanessa had called the day before, all sweetness. "Bring Emma over. I'll do her hair for the school event. I'm a professional, you know." And I said yes. Because Emma begged. Because I wanted to believe family wouldn't hurt a child on purpose. When I picked her up, her bangs were uneven, chopped like a joke. But she was glowing. They clapped. They praised her. They lied. That poll proved it. Sitting there in the quiet kitchen, something inside me hardened. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I opened my laptop. If they thought I would swallow this like I always had, they didn't know me at all. And they were about to learn. By the time the sun came up, my decision was already made. I didn't wake up angry. I woke up clear. Emma was still asleep when I slipped into the kitchen with my coffee and my phone. The house was quiet again, but this time it didn't feel hollow. It felt focused. Like the calm before something finally breaks. The first thing I did took less than 5 minutes. I opened my banking app. One by one, I canceled every automatic transfer I'd set up over the years. No more covering my mother's utilities. No more temporary help with the mortgage. No more quiet deposits into Vanessa's salon account when business was slow.
Click. Confirm. Done.
Years of financial support erased with a few taps. Before you judge me, understand this. I wasn't being cruel. I was stopping the bleeding. I had spent my entire adult life trying to buy peace. What I finally understood was that all I'd been funding was resentment. They didn't love me for helping them. They hated me for being able to. Late that morning, I took Emma out for pancakes. That's what I told her anyway. In reality, I drove her straight to the best salon in town, the kind with soft lighting, warm smiles, and stylists who actually look kids in the eyes when they talk to them. The woman who took one look at Emma's hair sucked in a breath. "This wasn't an accident," she murmured. "Someone did this without care." I felt my jaw tighten, but I kept my voice light for Emma. I held her hand while the stylist worked, snip by careful snip, reshaping the damage into something gentle and polished. When she finally turned the chair toward the mirror, Emma froze. Then she smiled. Not the nervous smile she'd worn the night before. A real one. "I like it," she said softly. "You look beautiful," I told her. And I meant it in every possible way. That afternoon, while Emma played in her room, I sat down at my laptop again. This time, I logged into the local parents group chat, the one where playdates are arranged and reputations quietly live or die. I didn't rant. I didn't exaggerate. I told the truth. I posted a photo of Emma's hair before we fixed it and wrote, "This haircut was done by a professional stylist to her own niece." She praised her to her face, then mocked her in a family chat. If she can do this to a child she knows, imagine how she treats kids she doesn't. Then I closed the laptop. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the replies started. "That's horrible. I'm canceling my appointment. Thank you for sharing this. My kids will never go there." By Monday morning, Daniel showed me his phone. "Vanessa's salon is half empty," he said quietly. By Tuesday, it was worse. No shows. Cancellations. Whispers spreading faster than I expected. Wednesday evening, my phone rang. "Vanessa." I let it ring once. Twice. Then I answered. "You did this," she hissed. "My clients are canceling. You're trying to destroy me." I stayed calm. Calm is terrifying when someone expects you to scream. "I didn't destroy you," I said. I told the truth. "It was just a haircut," she snapped. "A joke. You've always been jealous of me." Her voice was shaking. That told me everything. "If it was a joke," I said quietly, "why is my daughter afraid to look in the mirror?" Silence. Then I hung up. 2 days later, my mother called. "How could you do this?" Helen demanded. "She's your sister. We can't pay the bills without your help." I laughed once, short and bitter. "You laughed at my child," I said. "You lost the right to ask me for anything." She hung up on me. That's when I knew they wouldn't stop at phone calls. And I was right. Because that Friday evening, I heard a car pull into the driveway. Heavy footsteps. A sharp knock. When I opened the door, they were standing there. And they were furious. The look on my sister's face told me she hadn't come to apologize. Vanessa stood on the porch with her arms crossed, eyes red and blazing. My mother was beside her, jaw clenched so tightly I could almost hear her teeth grinding. Behind them lingered Vanessa's daughter, staring at the ground like she wanted to disappear. "You've gone too far," Vanessa snapped the second I opened the door. "You're ruining my life." I didn't move aside to let them in. "You're destroying my business over a stupid haircut," she continued, her voice trembling with rage. "Over a joke." My mother jumped in immediately. "Do you have any idea what you've done? We can't pay the mortgage without you. We can't keep the house. Is this really worth tearing the family apart?" Something in me finally snapped, clean and sharp. "You want to talk about tearing the family apart?" I said evenly. "You did that years ago. When you taught me I was never enough. When you defended her while she humiliated me. When you told me I was too sensitive instead of protecting me." Vanessa rolled her eyes, just like she used to when we were teenagers. "Oh, please. You've always been jealous of me." I laughed. Dry. Empty. Jealous. I said, "The only thing I envy is how you've managed to live your entire life without a single ounce of self-awareness." Her face flushed, but I kept going. "Your salon isn't empty because of me. It's empty because parents don't trust someone who mocks children. I didn't make anything up. I showed them exactly who you are. My mother's voice cracked. We need your help. That word again. Help. No, I said. You made your choices. Live with them. You will never see my daughter again. Vanessa's mask finally cracked. We can't pay the mortgage, she whispered. You've destroyed me. I shook my head. No. You destroyed yourself. I just stopped paying for it. Behind me, Daniel stepped closer and placed his hand on the door. June is worth more than all of you combined, I said quietly. Then I closed the door. The knocking came again, frantic this time, but I didn't answer. Months passed. Vanessa's salon didn't recover. It collapsed. Empty chairs. Closed doors. Eventually, they packed up and left town without a goodbye. Emma thrived. Her hair grew back soft and even. The shame faded. One night after a school performance, she squeezed my hand and whispered, I know you'll always protect me. That made everything worth it. Some people say I went too far. Others say I waited too long. All I know is this. The moment I chose my daughter over people who never chose me, I finally chose myself. Silence can be loud when it's earned. After they left town, there were no dramatic messages. No apologies. No attempts to fix what they had broken. Just absence. And strangely enough, that absence felt lighter than everything I'd carried before. For years, I thought family meant endurance. Staying. Swallowing pain so no one else had to feel uncomfortable. I thought love was measured by how much you were willing to sacrifice your pride, your boundaries, yourself. I was wrong. Family is supposed to protect the smallest among us. And the moment they laughed at my daughter's tears, they stopped being family. Emma changed in ways that were small but unmistakable. She stopped checking mirrors like they might betray her. She laughed louder. She raised her hand in class again. One morning, as I was packing her lunch, she looked up at me and said, Mom, I don't care what they think anymore. I had to turn away, so she wouldn't see my eyes fill. Daniel noticed it too. One night, after Emma had gone to bed, he took my hand and said, You know, I've never seen you this calm. He was right. Cutting them off didn't make my life harder. It made it quieter. Cleaner. I slept better. I stopped bracing myself before every holiday, every phone call, every gathering that felt like walking into a trap. Sometimes guilt still tried to creep in. Late at night, when the house was dark, a voice would whisper, Maybe you were too harsh. Maybe it really was just a haircut. Then I'd remember Emma's shaking shoulders. Her question, why would they say that if they thought I was ugly? And the guilt would disappear. Months later, I ran into someone from the old neighborhood at the grocery store. She hesitated before speaking, then said softly, You know, people talk about what your sister did, about how you handled it. I smiled. I'm sure they do. She nodded. You did the right thing. That was enough. Emma never asked about them again. Children are wise that way. They know who makes them feel safe. One night, while tucking her in, she wrapped her arms around my neck and whispered, Thank you for choosing me. That was the moment I knew, no matter what anyone else thought, I would make the same choice again. Every time. Because here's the truth no one likes to say out loud. You don't owe loyalty to people who hurt your child. You don't owe silence to people who thrive on your pain. And you don't owe money, forgiveness, or access to anyone who turns love into a weapon. I didn't destroy my family. I broke a cycle. And in doing that, I gave my daughter something far more valuable than grandparents, cousins, or forced togetherness. I gave her safety. I gave her dignity. I gave her an example. So, if you're wondering whether I went too far, let me answer clearly. I went exactly as far as a mother should. And not one step less.